If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Word to your mother.
3, 2, 1. You're listening to two cool moms. One cool mom's name's Joe, and the other one's name is
Sup? Steve Byrne.
Steve Byrne, Joe Gatto. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Stevie.
Yes.
Gotta
Yes,
talk. Gotta talk to you about something here, Steve.
Please. That's why I'm here. What?
I have to say,
Yeah.
what do you do when you don't like your child?
What?
When they do something to annoy. Here's the thing.
Well, in the old days, they'd put them in a burlap sack and drop them down a well. But you can't do that
It's
anymore
frowned
because we're
upon.
civilized. Yes.
My patience is starting to run thin with sick children.
Excuse me?
My daughter, when my daughter got
Oh,
sick.
I thought you meant like...
Not ones I don't know. My own.
Okay.
My daughter got sick and like comes into the bed at like 5 in the morning, like, Dad, I don't feel good, and I'm gonna throw up and all that. And I was just waking up, and I wasn't. My patience was running a little thin, and I literally went, oh, again. Like I felt like I did that. So, do you normally feel bad when that stuff like kind of happens?
To be honest with you, I never deal with it because my wife does it.
Another reason why we love her.
I'm telling you, I sleep through everything.
Really?
Everything. I sleep through everything. I'm not joking. So my wife will be like, did you hear when Ken came? I have no idea.
No idea.
No clue.
Wow.
How I'll die is a hurricane will sweep through Nashville, and I'll be like Dorothy. I'll be up in the eye of the storm. Like, oh my God, what's going on? I'm in a hurricane, and I'll get launched. That's how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I won't hear the sound higher. I won't hear the foghorn or any of that stuff. That's how I'm going to die.
Do you sleep through alarms?
I don't sleep through it's like Pavlov's dog. I'm trained to with this. But,
right.
That's
multiple
it, yeah.
alarms or single alarm?
All I need is one, but I always do two just in case.
Do you do a snoozer? Are you a snoozer?
Come on.
You snooze?
You know me.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course I snooze.
I never snooze.
I love a snooze.
I'm anti-snooze.
Really?
Not enough for me. I'm good with a good. I love a power nap. I know a good 15 to 20 minute
power
recharge.
nap's great, but to get an extra 9 minutes in,
best because it is
Best
9
feeling
with the top. By the time you get comfy again, and then it takes you a minute to find the phone.
There's the question: can I? And the answer is always yes.
Yes,
you
I can. Yes, my dad. When I was growing up, I used to. I went to Monsignor Farrell, which wasn't close to my house at all.
Yeah.
My dad used to drive to the city every day for work, so he'd have to drive by. I had to take the two New York City buses in Staten Island to get to my high school.
Right.
And I always hated it. I never wanted to do it, especially when it was cold. So my father would have to drive to the city. He would have to like kind of pass my high school, but not really.
Right.
And I would like always like when my alarm went off, I would go like check in, and I would like get in bed with my dad's bed and like just like fall back asleep, and then be like, "Oh, we woke up late." My dad's like, "Oh,
now you gotta take me.
You gotta take me." So eventually, my
That's
dad was
smart.
like, "All right, just I'll just drive you. Just stay in your own bed."
That's nice.
He's like, "Just
Yeah.
stay in your bed." He's like, so I don't wake up by you being woken up by your mother." You know.
When you do that, by the way, because I'm never up that morning that early, but kids that they got to take the subway, they got to take the bus to high school, whatever. Do you get to go for free? Do you still have to pay?
You have to pay. You get a school pass though, so it's less expensive. Back in the day, my Metro card, I got a school pass one, so I think it was like a monthly, which was way discounted.
Yeah.
But the schools, like my kids' school, we drop them off, but because they do a bus.
Right.
I don't like a bus for kids. I think nothing good happens on a bus.
Really?
Yeah.
Part of the experience of going to school though is being on the bus, and
Yeah, well, not if you're not a cool kid like you.
no, I wasn't a cool kid.
Well, you didn't get beat up on the bus.
I actually walked to high school.
Well,
I lived a mile.
That checks out.
A mile from high school, so I didn't have to get my butt whooped. But yeah, I walked.
You walked a mile every day?
A high school. Yeah.
You literally could look to your kids and go, "I walked 1 mile."
Literally, I walked
every
a mile
day." Right.
every day to school. Yeah.
Try to walk a mile in my shoes, Kent, while he's being like my Prius.
But it's funny to hear about the public transportation in New York City that you got to take, and then you go anywhere else in the country, and if your kid's going to school, here comes the yellow bus. The state of California, garbage state that it is, you pay all these property taxes, and I'll never forget this conversation I had with my wife. Everybody in California drives their kids to school in the morning. Every single parent drives their kid to school in the morning. And we're driving. And one day I go to my wife, I go, wait, why are we driving our kids to school? She goes, oh, because the state of California has taken school buses out of all the budgets. So
Because everybody drives.
and it's something you don't even think about.
Right.
And it's like, oh, here's the fifth. fifth GDP in the world. Like as affluent as the fifth nation on the globe,
Right.
the state of California produces all this money, and you can't even send your own kids to school on a goddamn bus.
That's crazy.
And the parents all put up with it. They go, "Oh, okay, I guess that's the way it is."
Well, they're getting their morning lattes at the Coffee Bean. That's what it's all about.
I hate that state. Anyways,
I did get in some troubles on the bus, and I'll tell you, I did cause some troubles because we got a dissection kit, and it came with a scalpel.
No.
And me and Francesco DiFrancesco were in the back seat, in the back seat.
Yeah.
And we just started we'll
carving up the.
We were just carving our initials. So I did a little J.
Who did this?
And they did a little F.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, they won't know who we are. We're just J and F. And then we put a plus in the side, so it was J and F.
Yeah.
And then they just looked on the bus and said, well, Joe and Frankie sat together. So it's clearly them two, right?
Yeah.
But then it got out of control because Frankie started doing a little bit of artwork. He's like, oh, I could draw this smiley face, but when you draw a smiley face, it's a circle.
Yeah.
So the hole just fell. He just ripped the hole. He's like, oh, yeah. So the whole thing ripped apart, and my father had to pay for it.
No,
had
really?
to repleather it. Yeah, I had to repleather the whole thing.
Pleather it.
Yeah. I had to I think he made me mow lawns or something for I had to go around. Yeah, I had to go around do yard work for my neighbors to work it off for free. He was like, just go. He's like, you're gonna work for this money. He's like, you're gonna go around and you're gonna do yard work for Mrs. Byrne. I had to go rake her itchy balls. I had to rake Mrs. Byron's itchy balls. You know itchy balls, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to rake.
Hurt.
Oh my god! And she used to fall on them all the time.
If you're playing football or something back in the day.
Well, Mr. Byron bit it. Mrs. Byron was by herself.
Yeah,
and she had steep steps and she had itchy balls everywhere. And his itchy balls were gone, so now she just had itchy balls in the tree. Yeah, so I had to go do that. That was the worst.
What was your go-to job in
to make money, to make scratch when I was younger? That wasn't really like a job, right? Like what you did around the neighborhood.
Yeah,
around the neighborhood, I did paperboy for a while. I was a penny saver guy. I did penny saver.
Penny saver.
I couldn't get the Staten Island advance. It was already taken.
Okay, yeah.
I couldn't get the advance, so I was the penny saver guy. I did that for a minute, and then I would do like yard work stuff.
Yeah, sure.
I would do some shoveling. At
Shoveling
Christmas
the
time, me and
driveway.
Jason Joseph would do the shoveling. That would be great.
Mowing lawns.
Yep. But I had the
raking
biggest
leaves. That was another one.
raking leaves. My dad. We had these 6-foot hedges at my house.
Yeah.
And my father used to cut them, and we'd have to rake them. And they went around the perimeter. I had the biggest yard on Harbor Road.
Yeah.
And he had this huge perimeter of 6-foot 6-foot hedges. And my father was 6'3", so that's why they were 6 feet. He would just stand there and just go like this, so he didn't need a ladder. And he would just, that's all they were.
Oh wow, okay.
So I would have to, and he'd be like, "All right, it's hedges. We're doing hedges this weekend." And we're like, "Oh my god, I hate the hedges." And I ended up using some of the money I made to pay some of the other kids around the neighborhood to help me with the hedges because I outsourced. I outsourced for a lower rate. And then, my mom would give everybody lunch. That was. What
that's nice.
It was like yard work day at the Gatto's house.
Now the shirt, real quick.
It's a bicycle.
Yes. And where did you get this?
This was a Nordstrom rack.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Your shirt choices fascinate me because I took a picture of it last night, but I don't want to. I also don't want to mess up where we're at here. But I went to my room last night, 3 a.m.
Yep.
Got my McDonald's.
Now, of course.
Turn on the TV, and there's a rerun of your show, and look what you're wearing.
I'm wearing the Steve Byrne casual shirt.
He's wearing the Steve Byrne casual shirt.
Yep, that's right.
You had taken a picture of me.
I had artwork. I had outsourced artwork.
Yeah, and I was it's where I lay down on my side.
It's your famous pose.
And you put it on a shirt, and I thought, wow, that is. I remember back in the day when it happened. I think you guys had texted me from the set.
Yep.
And Sal was like, "Look at what Joe's wearing today." I was like, "Oh my god, that's so awesome!" Yeah. And it was one of those kind of like meta things, I guess, whatever. But then last night, 3 a.m, I'm like, "Oh, this is so cool! I get to. I'm doing a podcast with Joe
so
now.
Funny,
this
right?
is wild. Yeah,
you can't get away from me. I'm wearing you. Now I'm stalking you. I'm talking to you.
You're on me.
That casual thing that was from one of your specials a long time ago?
Yeah, my first Comedy Central half hours. Yep. Comedy Central Presents, and these were big from like 2004 to 2000, maybe like 10, 11, 12, maybe somewhere there. And what they did was, at the time, if you got one of these, you were making money on the road. You were now headlining. Mm-hmm. It established yourself, and it was like the Netflix hour specials for like young comics back in the day. So I got mine in 2006, and it was one of my first jokes for some reason. I remember seeing that Burt Reynolds He's laying down, just like no man should ever lay down like that, and it just spirals and it turns into a fun bit. And so,
because you still take those pictures to this day,
still to this day, and not only that, my son and daughter would see me do it so much, they thought that's how you pose.
Oh, yeah.
They thought that's how you take a picture.
That's great.
Because I'd be everywhere, and my wife, I go, Jess, can you just take this real quick? And we take it.
I've taken a bunch of those of you.
Yeah,
so
thank you,
fun.
by the way. But
So
my
fun.
son does it all the time, and my daughter used to do it all the time. And she's like, I'm not doing that. It's so stupid.
That's
It's
great.
like, okay, but
That's my kids say do a daddy face when we take a picture, and they do the big eyes because like I'm known for doing like the
yeah.
like that thing.
Yeah.
And, like that big stupid face. And they're like, oh, Daddy, let's take a picture. Let's do the daddy face. And I'll look and they'll just be like my kids make these
But
big
you do
dumb
that all
eyes.
the. There was, I think I told this story before. We were on your cruise, and I was trying to get a picture of DeRosa singing with the goddamn Comedy Jam. And every time I lined it up, you would walk right in front, and you knew where I was standing, and you just kind of like do this and stuff. And I kept like moving, and then I'd see you move, and you're still dancing. You knew exactly. It's like you had rear view mirrors.
I've been on cameras a lot.
And then I'm like, motherfucker. So I just put it away, and I'm like, all right, he's closing up. Let me do one more. And I start to do it, and literally I'm getting ready to do it, and you jump right in front, and you go like this. I'm like, you knew the whole time. You go, of course I knew, Steve.
I do a lot of fun stuff with pictures. Like I used to do this thing all the time when people would say, oh, can we take a picture? And they're fans. And if they had a baby with them, I would take the baby from them without asking.
Right.
I was like, oh yeah. And I would just take and then I would hold the baby away from my body.
Yeah.
Like awkwardly. And
That's funny.
I would just hold the baby and be like that. There's so many pictures of me doing that.
Yeah.
Murray does it. Murray does that now. He always thought that was hysterical. I used to do that all the time. And I used to do this thing too where I'd always I make the people take multiple pictures.
Yeah.
And I'd always make sure that I would have my eyes closed in at least 3 out of 4 of them. like a big face. I would think that's always so fun. And now with the meet and greets, and I do the meet and greets at the shows, it's so fun because it's one picture for somebody, but for me, it's like, I take a bunch. Yeah. So I try to keep it mix it up sometimes. So now I'll just start grabbing people. I'll start making people, I'm like, here, hold my face. And we're like, what? And they're like, oh, I'm like, well, do one regular one, but let's have some fun. Yeah. So I do a lot now with the prom picture. People love doing that. Hold my belly.
Oh, the prom.
From behind me. Yeah, they hold my belly. That's a lot of fun. But I get this a lot too. People are like, could you just, my Captain Fat Belly, I used to say, suck it to the camera. And it never fails. It's like a little kid comes like, can we suck it? I'm like, yeah, let's. And it's me, this 8-year-old, like, suck it. I think that's so funny. Yeah. Picture taking is fun. I mean, I can't believe if you think back in the day, you used to have to wait a week.
Oh, to get them developed?
To get them developed.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy because now it's like, oh, was that a good one? Yeah, well, now let's take it again. That was it. That was your shot.
Yeah, you just wind it, shoot it, and go, well, I hope it.
That's it.
I hope we did it.
I hope everybody did it. And then a week later, you find out that, Michelle's face is like, and you're like, fucking Michelle screwed up the picture.
What is the best part about meet and greets for you?
I love the meet and
greet. You
greet.
do so many.
I love the meet and greet.
But
I love the meet and greet
part?
as much as the show. I love it.
Really?
Yeah, I love meeting the fans.
They're as long as the show.
They are. Yeah, they are. They take longer sometimes, but I enjoy that. I do enjoy the way I come out for the show now. That's our friend Jiggy helped me out with my entrance, and it is a lot of fun. And it's only gotten better, and it really hits hard, and I have a lot of fun with it now. So when I come on stage now, I spend a good, minute dancing around and announcing myself, I guess. And then after that, I love the first 10 minutes now where I really just get into, because now getting into these towns, I actually spend some time for the day. And I always have a story or two or an observation that's about that town. Yeah. So it's been really fun to even get to know a little bit more about these little places I'm going to.
Well, speaking of performing,
here we go.
Brings us to our first question. Okay.
Coming in.
It's coming to us from Zach. Hey, Two Cool Moms. Your podcast has inspired me to go to more comedy shows.
Oh, great.
What are some of your favorite spots to go see stand-up in New York City? Thanks.
Get them. Hit them.
Well, where do you like to go?
Nowhere.
Nowhere?
Nowhere.
You're off the clock. You don't want to go.
Off the clock.
You're it. That's it.
I'm done.
Okay.
I have things to do here in New York City. I have things to do. But you're big in what they call the scene. You're a true stand-up. You've grinded for years. You've been up against those on the walls with the microphones. You've been doing the things. You did the leans. You did the crowd work. You've done your thing. And now it's time to shine. I want you to come at this question here for Ziggity Zach, and I want to let him know, drop some truth bombs on him, be like, you want to go here, but you want to stay away from here. This room's good, belly room no good. I want you to hit him with these things, because these are all the little things, and this is it. Ready to go? Hit
Once the spigot's going,
that's it.
You can't turn it off on Joey.
It's 3, 2, 1. Hit him with some truth.
All right, Joey upstairs. So I would say if you're coming out to New York City, I mean, there's so many great clubs, right?
Right, but you
Gotham's
have-
a little more posh. It's a little more prestigious. You feel a little fancier going in there. The Cellar's the OG to me. It's like,
Right.
And I'm not talking Village Underground. I'm not talking Fat Black Pussycat because they're all under the umbrella of the Cellar. The actual Comedy Cellar on McDougal, that's the one. 115 seats in there. So intimate. The audience is right on top of you. You have got to produce, especially on those lineups. So every comic you're seeing, they're going to have a killer set. I mean, it just is the way it is down there. I love that. I love working there. I love also like watching. Last night I was there. I was hanging out with Jeff Ross. We were at the Stand, and the Stand is another great club that just renovated. They're on outside of Union Square. It's an awesome club. It's a great little space. You go downstairs, but the bar and the restaurant, it's one of the few places where comics can actually like go and hang. So when you walk in, you'll see all the comics hanging out. There's like another table there as well where all the comics chill out. But I really love the Stand. Ross and I were hanging out. We went up, improv, then we went to the Cellar together, and Jeff Ross and David Tell did, their two-man kind of like bumping mics. And you go there, and they made me forget I'm a comedian. I was an audience member last night. I was sitting there with John Rudnitsky, Will Sylvans, and we're standing at the entrance, and we're laughing harder, if not as much as the audience. We're audience members watching them. Dave,
that's great.
The lines he's coming up with, it's just unbelievable how quick-witted he is in the moment, but then also implementing so many lines. He was talking about, for some reason, a threesome came up, and it tells like, oh, my fantasy threesome. I always wanted this. 2 flat earthers and a Holocaust denier. And it's like, how do you do that? It's like, and then you sit there going, I do the same thing he does, but no, I don't.
Yeah.
Like he's unbelievable, and Ross too. Ross is so quick-witted, and it was so fun. That was the first time I shared the mic with Ross. We literally had to share the mic because the second mic didn't work. And,
oh man!
And I like to pride myself on the crowd work and my improv skills, and that was kind of like the first test where I was actually on stage with somebody I really revere. Not only as a friend, but as a truly gifted gunslinging comic, and I was able to hold my own with Ross, and it felt like really good. But again, with Ross and Attell, when they're on stage together, that's just a whole nother level. It's unbelievable watching.
So you would say those are your hot spots.
Those are my hot spots. I'd say the Stand, the Cellar, the Village Underground's great. I mean, it's just like that's like almost like the Laugh Factory kind of like where it's like it's so expansive. They always have a great crowd, and it's just like every joke's going to be at least a double or triple, and then you get a lot of home runs there too.
This is what I'm saying. This is what this question's written for you. You did fantastic.
Yeah, I'm surprised though. You've been to shows though,
100%.
And is there a club you particularly really enjoy? No,
not at all.
Okay, that was very honest.
No, I don't like any of it.
You don't like it?
Don't like it.
Okay,
it's not for me.
Yeah, and you're doing it though.
Yeah, it's not for me. No, no. I went to see Sal.
Yeah,
I think it was at the Cellar. I have a lot of fond memories, and I know about Caroline's. I have a lot of fond memories of Caroline's because when I was growing up, like I'm talking like 90s, mid-90s, late 90s, I would always I would go see there because that's where people would come through that were like, the headliners and the big hitters would be there. So I saw a lot of comedy there. But I remember that's where I fell in love with Lisa Lampanelli.
Oh yeah,
and I had seen her there, and she crushed, and I was like, "Oh, this is great." And I fell in love with Caroline's, I think, because of that experience.
Yeah,
I had such a great time watching Lisa. She made me part of the show.
Yeah,
and then I met her after, and I befriended her, and we're still friends to this day. But it's crazy to just Caroline's for me in like New York, and I know it's not like the comedy club; it's more like the tourist.
It's like a headliner, club,
right? Like that. It's not like so I think that. But I've had. Stand-up shows, I laugh loud. I'm a loud laugher. I enjoy being a member of the fun.
Sure, yeah.
So I always find myself like kind of getting taken out of it because I'm laughing too loud and I get a little self-conscious.
Yeah.
I remember seeing, Sal for one birthday. I got him tickets to see Seinfeld in in Atlantic City. My mom got comp tickets.
Ugh.
So I know. So we went, and I remember I was laughing so hard at something, and like Sal ended up being like, "Shh." I was like, "I'm sorry, dude." But that, and I always loved going to see an Atlantic City headline show. Like a headline comic show. I know those aren't comedy rooms, but the Atlantic City for comedy shows for me were always great. I saw Don Rickles there,
Sure,
with Sal, which was phenomenal. One of the best nights of my life there. I had seen a lot of stand-up comics there. I saw Ray Romano there.
As someone who's born in Jersey, my heart breaks every time I hear or think about Atlantic City.
Really,
it is such. It's Vegas on a beach.
Yes,
and for decades, they have not been able to get it to work. I don't know why.
They can't land it.
It bums me out so much because I was there. This is just before the pandemic hit. Last time, maybe 2.5 years ago, I guess. And it was a Thursday night. I did my show, and I went out to walk along the boardwalk. I was the only person.
Crazy, right?
Only person. There were
at
like
your show.
2 or 3.
Yeah. Oh, on the boardwalk. On the boardwalk. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry.
Both. So,
Thanks, guys. I'm going for a walk on the boardwalk.
But White House Subs is fantastic.
Yeah.
The aesthetics, like the history.
Yeah.
The history. You see all those wonderful pictures back in the day of how
the horse diving.
Everybody went there. Yeah, everything was there.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how things come and go like that.
It guts me.
You can say the same thing about Vegas, though.
Vegas works though.
But there's parts of Vegas that don't anymore, right?
Well, Vegas, for some reason or another, has succeeded. There's tentpole casinos all across the country, but Vegas is still a destination. They're willing to go there. The thing that breaks my heart about Vegas is that Vegas is so quick to destroy and replace as opposed to acknowledge their history. They don't do it. The Sands, they should have blown it up. Renovate it, but keep the aesthetics of the original showroom there. Like the Golden Nugget, the showroom is still the showroom. Sinatra performed on that stage.
Yeah.
So you could go there and get some semblance of history there. I don't think they'll change, but it's one of the few. I mean, the Flamingo is the original casino to generate what we now know as the Strip. And that was
the Flamingo?
Bugsy. Yeah.
Oh, Bugsy Siegel.
Bugsy Siegel was the first to, because before then it was all those cowpoke kind of slot machines down at the actual Strip where like the Nugget is. And then he was the first to put like a destination casino hotel on that Strip, and then it just blew up ever since there. So the Flamingo is still the original tentpole that's still there.
Yeah.
But so many of them are just come and gone. The Frontier is gone. The Sands is gone.
When I was younger, I said the Aladdin.
The Aladdin is gone. And Sinatra did the grand opening of that. He came in a camel on that.
Really? I didn't know that. Yeah, I remember staying there when I was a kid. I was there with my parents, and I loved it.
I don't know. It just breaks my heart. So I don't know. I have a deep, I don't know, AC just kind of,
there you go.
It hurts me.
Don't let it hurt you.
Why do they do that?
Next question. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, it's fine. You do this all the time. Okay. This is coming to us from Holly. Hi, Steve and Joe. This Christmas is extra exciting. For the first time in 9 years of marriage, I've been given permission from my mother-in-law to have a key party. I'm joking.
I was going to say.
To host Christmas. I have 2 little ones, and we will be hosting about 16 people. Any advice for this Irish mom who isn't the world's best cook, hosting her Italian in-laws, Nana and Nono, for Christmas? This is her first Christmas for the extended family.
That's amazing. That's always fun. For me, the food in an Italian Christmas is a huge part of it. But I will also say it's also the experience of the hang. So it's everybody sitting around the table. So you want to make sure that your table is comfortable to hang around. Don't want a cheap fold out. You don't want to whatever. Like you have to make sure that you have a nice that everybody feels comfortable sitting at the table. Yeah. Because I remember my grandfather and grandmother for a long time. I'm one of 15 grandkids. Of their grandkids, they had 4 kids who had 15 kids across the families, and they used to. My grandfather moved back from California. He said Christmas Eve is now at my house, and he had everybody. So it would be the 4 kids with all their kids, right? And then some of the old ones would have their siblings, and there was a couple great grandkids that had been there. So we're talking in their small basement in Staten Island. Yeah, we would have up 27 to 40 people, anywhere around there, and the tables were configured in a way that everybody could kind of see each other. Sure, yeah. Everybody would be able to hang out and sit around. The food was great because my grandmother, but still. It was just that you could hang together and spend time. So I think that's super important. It's the flow of where everybody gets to sit and hang. Make sure that is very comfortable. I find for me that's more important, as important as the food. Yeah. Because you're going to spend time sitting at the table. Especially Italians. We don't get up from the table. We said that. I
It's
died.
amazing. You guys, you love your tracksuits, but
we don't use
not
them.
really walking.
We don't get the steps in. We don't get the steps in. It's
a lot of carbs.
It's for comfort. It's for comfort.
It is for
we
comfort.
get it for
huh?
comfort. It's not for comfort. It's not for. It's not for. It's comfort. It's not for use.
I think I would suggest the aesthetics. You want it to feel like Christmas?
Sure.
Get some
Music. Music's big.
Music. You got to have the music.
Get that Alexa on playing those Christmas hits.
Yeah, the classics.
Yes.
Not this new 80s,
Newfound,
90s,
No, you wanna get old
2000s.
schools.
Yeah, you want Sinatra, you want Sammy Davis, you want Dean Martin.
Yeah.
You want the
You want Dominic
the Donkey,
Learns,
which is the worst Christmas song I've ever heard.
What's your favorite Christmas song?
White Christmas.
Really?
Yeah, how about you?
Mine? It's a Marshmallow World. Johnny Memphis.
Ah, that's a great one.
It's one of my favorites. I wouldn't say it's my favorite. It's definitely up there. One of my
Favorite
favorites.
Christmas movie?
Favorite Christmas movie, hands down, Home Alone.
White Christmas.
Oh, wow.
I love it.
You're on theme. You're on theme.
I stick to a pattern, yeah. I think aesthetics, music, you're right. Obviously, food is a big thing.
Food's going to be a thing. You might want to outsource.
She's Irish.
You might want to outsource.
Yeah.
You might want to tell Nona to bring her meatballs.
How hard? Yeah, I mean, you could see with the sauce is, to me, paramount, right? You could go anywhere and get.
She said Christmas Day. She's not doing Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve's the meal of the fishes.
Christmas Day.
She can't handle that.
It's Christmas Day.
Yeah, the fishes she can't do on Christmas Eve. The 7 fishes, that's not for her.
What's the 7 fishes?
You get 7 dishes of fishes on Christmas Eve. It's an Italian tradition.
Is this shit making up, or is this for real?
It's real. It's the 7 fishes. Yeah. So there's 7 different dishes of fish that you have. It's all fish.
So it's like halibut, salmon, trout?
No, it's more like there's a fish salad that gets made.
Fish salad?
Yep,
What the fuck?
There's a fish salad, yeah.
That sounds disgusting.
Aunt Linda's fish salad's one of the best things I ever put in my mouth.
Wait. Are you like slicing up? It's cold?
No, it's like, yeah, it's cold. It's like...
That's fucking disgusting.
Really?
I'm out. Is that the first dish? Fuck that.
Again,
I'm out.
You're not on a microphone.
All
right. Well, that's way better.
So that sounds disgusting. You're kicking it off with cold fish and lettuce leaves.
Cold fish salad.
And Italian dressing, I assume.
It's got celery in it. Yeah.
It's gross.
It's good. I'm going to get you some fish salad.
Fuck
Do that.
that.
You do a shrimp cocktail, right? At Debski with a shrimp
That's fine.
cocktail. We go
I'm
right
in
there.
for that, yeah.
And you're gonna do some hot fishes. You're gonna do a like you said, like a fillet of sole or
I'll do that,
like
yeah.
You do a scungile in the hot
What's that?
sauce.
What's a
Fra
scungile?
Diavolo? It's octopus, calamari. You do a hot scungile. You put
Got
it
it. I'm in for that. Does that count as a fish?
Yeah, you do that with
The calamari's a fish.
It's the scungile, yeah. It's a
Okay.
fish. Well, it's a fish. We don't go mollusks. It's not the 7 mollusks. You're like, I mean, you're really gonna get us on a friggin' asterisk? I mean, come on,
Okay. And then what do you like? Why 7 though?
Because the 7 days of Christmas. I don't know where the 7 comes from. I don't know where the 7 comes from. I just know it's the 7 fishes.
Now, are we having pasta and sausage along the way too, or this is just
Pasta
so
comes
Christmas
with the
Day? It is
scungile.
just 7 fishes.
You get
that's it.
linguine. You get a Fra Diavolo normally. Like you do like a mixed fish. You could do
Yeah.
you do some mussels, things like that.
Are the Italians the ones that do the calamari with the peppers? Is it because of you guys?
That's it. Yeah.
That's my favorite app of all time.
Yeah, you do. Well, some people call it Kung Pao calamari, and people give it to P.F. Chang's, but not really. We started it with a hot pepper. Yeah, Bang Bang calamari. You'll see.
Are you making
that.
shit up?
No. This is Bang Bang calamari and P.F. Chang's. It's basically that with hot cherry peppers.
And that's you guys.
Pork chop Murphy is really.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You could go to Maggiano's, Buca di Beppo, or Olive Garden.
Buca di Beppo.
You have to.
Buca di Beppo.
Really? Of the 3, as a bona fide East Coast Italian.
Sounds the most Italian. That's why I go with
But
that.
food-wise.
Olive Garden could go molest itself. No way.
It's bad.
Terrible. Olive Garden, I'd never. The boys made me go to Olive Garden once, and I
Really?
used, right. No,
But Buca di Beppo is like, of those 3, the most legit, you would say?
I would just say if you go anywhere, any of those, and you just get a normal like ziti and a red sauce, you're okay.
Okay.
Or ravioli.
What's Italian street food? I was in Columbus, Ohio, and they had a food place called Italian Street Food.
Sausage and peppers, hands down, #1 Italian street food dish. Yeah, sausage and peppers.
But how come there's no Italian street food in New York City? I
San
never see
Gennaro
it.
Festival.
You guys have one street.
Yeah, and the whole street is a
What
party
happened to
for a
Little
weekend.
Italy?
It became Little Chinatown. Little Chinatown.
Is that really what happened?
Yeah, they
So the
expanded.
Chinese kept expanding?
Well, yeah. No, we still
Wow.
got more. There's still Mulberry Street there.
But it's like one street, though.
It's
Little
one
Italy's
street.
now
It's
just...
one street, multiple blocks.
Right.
But it used to go for more blockage before it turned into like more into Chinatown adjacent.
I would just think in this city there would be more Italian street food, but I don't even know what Italian street food is. I just went in there and they had like I forget what the dish I got, but
Sausage and peppers is a big one. Yeah.
yeah,
Pizza.
yeah, okay. Italian street. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but it's not
that's not
branded
street
as like,
food.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, because you don't get that off a truck.
Because those like halal guys, that's street food. That's like, that's like street meat.
Yeah, street meat.
Fun hot dogs,
Right,
pretzels.
hot dogs. Yeah, hot dogs, pretzels.
When I think of New York City,
Oh, wait, let me look at my watch. It's lunchtime? Yeah, because this is what, look at you right now. You've totally sidetracked it to talk about food, you fat bastard. Like, seriously, it always happens like that. Like, they should call Two Cool Moms plus lunch. Like, that's really what it is. Whenever it's this time, you just go off. On
Okay,
the
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Don't
Okay,
even look.
no,
Don't look.
okay,
What was the question? Don't look. What was the question?
the question was, what was your? No, but we're talking about Italian food, right? The 7 fishes and all that. The Christmas. She's Irish.
How do you host Christmas? You're like, let me tell you about my best street meat I've ever had. That was your answer.
But I'm curious about Italian street food. So sausages and peppers, because you can't. When I think Italian food, I think of pasta.
Yeah.
You can't take pasta on the street. You can't eat that on the street.
No.
So like, what else do you have then as street food?
Whatever sandwich you could do is really like a sausage and peppers. For
Okay.
me,
That's
for
my
me. It's that and a zeppoli for the dessert.
Oh, that's the
Bag.
dough.
Yeah, fried dough and a powdered
Fried
sugar.
dough and powdered sugar. Yeah. Beautiful.
Fantastic.
That's just pizza dough, right?
Yeah. Stop talking about food. Go to the next question.
Fuck, okay, I'm starving. God damn.
It's not just pizza dough. It's dough.
Yeah, all right. This is coming to us from Evan.
Are you hungry?
I believe this is very targeted towards you. This is Evan. Did I say that right? Okay. My question is, how has seeing the support of fans through touring helped you in these troubling times?
I mean, you know how. It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
You know, you feel love and support for people that come out and spend time with you and let you continue to do what you love as you're dealing with what you got to deal with. And that's probably one of the best parts. I even spend time on my show talking about it, about how great it is. I mean, you're there, you've seen it, and you know how much that means. It's just that energy you get from people is what the energy you receive from people. And I've always believed this: the energy you receive from people is the energy you put back out in the world.
Yeah.
And I feel like, the love and kindness and all that is reciprocated between me and my fans. I always say that I've always heard from people, and you've seen the stories. We joke about this all the time about how people have gotten through them some serious shit, and people do not care and tell me right away, right to my face, these horrible stories and things that I've gotten them through. And I'm like, wow, you get hit with that. And to be there for people has been amazing. And now to actually have to flip it and be able to get that from people has been amazing.
Right.
So I would say it's great.
Well, I love when I see you on stage and you see how happy you are. And then after touring with you all these weeks, I've just come to realize how much of it's just an act.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So come on out.
I see the real you.
Yeah, the real me. Right. I'm just
violent.
I'm violent
seething,
in the back.
brooding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Force feeding you sausage and peppers in the back. But I imagine you just like it comes out that I just like beat my openers.
I think that there comes a point in everybody's career. You go up, you go down. We all have plateaus, whatever. There was a period of time, for sure, 4 or 5 years ago, I contemplated quitting. Yeah. I really was at a breaking point where I thought.
Imagine that.
By the way, I told my manager, I'm thinking of quitting doing stand-up. She goes, oh, okay, yeah. I was like, this is who I want in my corner. Because you're kind of reaching out to get some reaffirmation from it all.
She's like, you're not good.
Literally. Wow. But there was that period of time where I was going through it. I was like, this thing I've committed my life to, I may just withdraw, because it's like I'm putting in all this work, all this sweat equity, and it just seems like nothing's really sticking. It's like, why am I doing this, right? And then you go up there, right?
Yeah.
And it just...
Somebody smiles, somebody laughs, you make eye contact, you feel the connection. It's like, yeah, that's why I'm doing it.
Literally, that's it.
There's comics that do it because of that. And there's comics... Yeah, I mean, it's all behind... Not even just comics. Take comics out of it. There's a reason why people do things, right?
Sure, yeah.
People are doing it to get something out of it, or people are doing it because they enjoy it. And that's the bottom line for me. That cuts you right in half. You're in one of those two groups. You're doing it because you're getting something out of it, or you're doing it because you want something.
Right.
If you're somebody who's doing it because they want something, you don't get what you want, you're going to fall out of love with it. If you're doing it because you're getting something out of it for yourself...
Sure, yeah.
I think it keeps you going way longer, even way longer than you maybe should be going.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I went to, I did a show last night, and it was one of those where, it's so fun to go up there. You have your material, you think you know what you're going to say, and then somebody says something.
It's over. And
then you're in the front row, and 10 minutes go by, and you're having an absolute blast, generating, coming up with stuff, and you're seeing people kind of bowled over, and I was like, this is the greatest job on the planet.
Yeah.
Like, I literally, like even today, I woke up at 2:30.
We started recording at 3.
Literally, I woke up at 2:30, got in a shower, rushed over here, I'm like doing this. I get to eat a nice meal after this, and then I'm going to go do my shows and catch up with my friends and watch them as well, and like, and laugh for like 4 or 5 hours tonight.
It's great.
It's the best.
Yeah, we've chosen a good life. It's hard. Spend a lot of there's a lot of downside from it, but I mean, there's also
what is the biggest downside for you in terms of because you're touring so heavily now. What's the biggest downside from the lifestyle of going from day to day of the show to pivoting to like living out of suitcase?
Well, the first thing was definitely the hours change, because I would be, now my night ends at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. Like I would do that, and I'm really a night owl, but I wasn't used to my last show ending at 12:30,
right?
Or my meet and greet being done at 12:30, rather, something like that. If we have a second show and whatnot, but for the hardest, there's been a lot of good. Like the shift of the schedule is great because I'm able. When I get home, I have to like do my laundry and do all that stuff, and then it's like, all right, now it's time with the kids, and now they're staying over and all that, which is great, which I'd never had, so that's fun. And then I would probably say the hardest part is really when I'm on the road a little bit more, it feels a little bit more lonely. Not only because I'm not with the boys, but now because like I'm so invested in home time, between the kids and the dogs and being there and handling home. I think that's the biggest downside now. It's like I genuinely miss being away from home in a different way.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's part of it, I think. And as the kids get older, it's like you miss things like the weekends are when the shows are, right? But now my daughter plays soccer on Sundays. Like I haven't seen her play soccer yet. There's no way for me to make that. But the flip side of that is you're there for breakfast and you help with the homeworks and do that kind of stuff. And that's a little different. But it's all it's always all a trade off.
Yeah, there's no perfect scenario at all. Ask Tom Brady.
Oh,
what happened?
An unnecessary dig.
I'm not Antonio Brown.
What did Brady ever do to you?
I love him, by the way.
Okay, him. Do you? Then why are you bashing him on your podcast?
The guy loves football more than family.
Oh,
what happened?
Where did you get off saying that? You don't know his situation.
Look,
you're just at the window and it's fogged up. You're trying to look in. You're trying to look in on the Bradys. They're a bunch.
I love him. I think he's incredibly talented, but you're reading all this stuff. It's just like, he's got one more season left. I would just think if I was friends with them or Giselle, I'd be like, it's one more.
Yeah.
It's one more season.
Yeah.
Let him take a victory lap. That's it. How much more he's got in the tank? He retired. He came back. One more. That's it. You couldn't see through it. One more.
You don't.
But also on his perspective, it's like, well, you did retire.
Yeah.
I totally get it. But I just think he's God, he's fucking awesome.
But he's one of the best. He's one of the best players Major League Baseball's ever seen.
Okay.
Thomas Brady,
Joey Sports,
of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Okay. Okay, this is all right. I think this is tailored towards you.
Why do you keep picking ones for me? You don't want to answer any questions?
I think people know more about you and what's going on, and so this is specific.
But here's the thing: if you would talk about yourself a little more, then we get to know you. Stop asking me questions about me.
Okay,
I'll answer it though. I don't care.
Dear Steve,
go.
What's it like
being yelled at by Joe every week?
No, okay, here we go. This is from Brody.
Yep.
Hey, guys, longtime fan and listener, so I just want to say thank you for all the pods and advice you've given out so far.
I will say this, time out. I'm up to about 10% of people telling me how much time they, at the meet and greets, love this and love Two Cool Moms.
Let's get it up to 12.
And ask how Steve's doing.
Oh, that's
I'm not
nice.
even kidding.
That's
not
nice.
even kidding. 20 people a night ask me.
Oh, that's great.
How Steve? Oh, this is great. I love your podcast. So
we just went up 10%. What's the real number?
You said 20 people. I meet 200 people.
Yeah,
I'm not 10 times 10% of 200.
That's okay, but that's very nice of them.
See, this is why it was not 12% because your attitude. I will say that. So thank you, everybody who's listening.
Thank you, guys, and I am fine, and thank you because there's been an introduction, obviously, through your fan base, which I really appreciate. Your fans are beyond the nicest.
They're the best.
Beyond the nicest. Yeah. Okay, from the bookmarker. Okay, here we go. I am a father with full custody of my 8-year-old daughter. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, sometimes I feel completely lost and like I have no clue how to be both parents. Luckily, I do have a large family, so she does get some female presence and advice from my sister and mother. When it comes down to it, I'm the one who's got her all the time. So I was wondering if you have any advice on how I could do a better job of being both parents. Thanks again, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Brody.
Okay.
Well, I would just say, I don't know why you referenced this twice. You're trying to be both parents. You're not.
Yeah.
You're just you.
You set yourself up for failure.
Yeah, I don't think that's a void you could ever fulfill. And as your daughter grows older, I don't think she would expect you to do that. She expects you to be a great dad. And I think you can do everything within your capacity to do that. But in terms of the female presence or the female advice that she's getting from your sister and mom, I think that's good enough. I think all you can do is just be there emotionally, be there supportive to see her through the experiences, and you want to spend as much time as possible with her. But by no means should you feel the burden of responsibility of being a mother as well.
I see what the trope is here, and the trope is you don't have the possibility to say, go ask your mother, right? Because there's always the things like when there's some things you feel like, or go ask your father, or you should go talk to the parent because they're more well-versed because they've gone through it in the same kind of way, right? Mm-hmm. So for me here, and if this happens with me, what I do, and it kind of correlates with this, is that if I don't know an answer and they ask me a question, something about anything, I'll research it with them. Make them part of the journey that you're educating both yourselves.
That's smart.
So I think that might be, honesty is always key with the kids. For me, it's, you can't pretend to know everything, but you could let them know that you'll be there to help them find an answer. And I think that was something I learned early on. I don't like to just I don't like saying I don't know and leaving it at that. I don't like making up an answer or just trying to give them half truths. I like to try to be as rounded as I can.
Sure.
So I think part of that journey would be I don't know a lot about girls' periods. My daughter might ask me about it.
I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Okay. I apologize. Okay. Okay. All right. Sorry.
So if my daughter's asking me about her bloody puss, is that what you want me to say? Is that what you're looking for? She said her period. I don't know much about it, so I'd have to Google it and search it.
Yeah.
So I'm saying you do the research together. So what I'm saying is, don't try to be both parents. I'm in line with you. You're only the dad, and if you don't know answers, go ahead and try to find them.
That's right. Yeah. Good. Okay.
Good job. Next question.
Sweet.
Sweet Jesus.
All right. Oh God. All right. This is from Luke. Thought on Kenny Pickett at quarterback. What are your thoughts?
Here's what I'll say. I will say that he does a good job of finding the open receiver.
Got it.
And I am very happy about that. And I am he's calling audible on the fly. And if he feels something in his gut, he's going to do it. Right. Sometimes he doesn't line up over center, which really bothers me. But if he's going to go for shotgun, he does a little too much for my taste. Right. But he's got to be reliable, and you can't always rely on him and make the play at the right moment. His calls sometimes aren't 100%, but he makes a call 100% of the time. That's all I'll say.
That is unbelievable.
Thank you for listening to Two Cool Moms. I've been Joe Gatto.
I'm Steve Byrne.
Yeah, thank you so much. We love you guys. Thanks for listening. And, good luck to the...
He has no idea what he's talking about. He doesn't know anything about football, and you generated that. That is unbelievable.
These two cool mommies love you, so show us some love.
Please rate us, review us, follow us on all social media, and subscribe to our YouTube.